Now, moving on to our next session, we have an equally exciting topic: the insurance workforce of the future, HR strategy to drive digitalization strategy. It is my pleasure to invite our next presenters, Mr. Hasham, Director Actuarial Services at BADRI, and Ms. Mariam, Head of Human Resources, take the stage and share their insights. Please give them a warm welcome. It's not here. Clicker.
Cool. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Still morning, just. So, that last session was really interesting. A new 100 billion market. But I think no session would be complete without talking a bit about digitalization and the transformation that a lot of us are going through at the moment. The economy as a whole, insurers are not exempt. But moving away from numbers, thinking about what's the most important piece of a successful digital transformation: us, people, human resources. So over the next 10 minutes, or 15 minutes or so, looking at high-level digitalization trends and opportunities, and what's the key recipe for success. So Mariam's going to touch on, how can you implement a successful HR strategy that's going to enable the success of your digitalization strategy. Okay, this is a bit depressing, isn't it? 70% of worldwide organizations have pessimism. I think we need to do a better job at PR in our industry. Having confidence in insurers, keeping up with the times, transforming to adapt to the challenges out there in the market. And the second statement, there's no doubt that we as insurers, we have to make bold strategic transformations to compete, to survive. Going to kick off with a Menti question. So no doubt everybody in this room, will have a strategy that includes the word digitalization in some form. But be honest, as an organization, where are you in your journey? So first option, just starting out, exploring, to the number 5, leading the way. Perhaps you're a digital first insurer. I'm predicting lots of 5s, let's see. Yeah, let's have a look. Oh, wow. Okay. Very clear. So clearly, a lot of us are starting out on the journey. Although there's a number of us that are starting to expand and explore digital solutions. Okay, so 2s and 3s, but lots of us at the start of our journey. Okay, flick back. So that was pretty interesting. That surprised me, actually. I expected more 2s from the conversations I've been having in the market. But what are some of the macro trends, affecting the insurance industry in general? And in the region, I won't read all of these, but health tech, telehealth, that's very hot. Embedded insurance, people have been talking about this for a while, but it's been live. If you look at products like travel, when you check out, that sort of thing. UBI. But a lot of these will require changes in our operating model, how we distribute our products, how we price them, and so on. the risk landscape is changing, there are technological shifts, and our customers have higher expectations now, right? They want an app that's, you think of some of the clunky apps that we have, in insurance. The user experience, the expectations from the customer are very different these days. If we think about the whole insurance value chain, right? So a lot of us, at the start of our digitalization journey, what are some of the opportunities out there? So courtesy of my friend John from, I think he's at Zurich now, used to be at RGA. This one slide, if you think about the whole insurance operating model, where are the opportunities where we can actually improve our bottom line and actually really make an impact across our business. So I'll just call out one or two examples. So more accurate risk assessment. We saw that a lot of companies are struggling with profitability earlier from some of the benchmarking. I personally believe you can still have 100 companies in this market, majority of which making money. That's essentially the UK motor market. It's all about specializing, understanding your risks, understanding your customers. On the bottom left, how many of us actually think about our customer lifetime value? And again, if I use motor as an example, in the UK, there's a lot of things that are quite different in terms of how we focus on the customer lifetime value rather than fighting for business year in, year out. If we can understand the profile of our risks and the customers, on average, customers stay with a UK motor insurer for about 3 years before they think about switching, even though they might get more competitive quotes from competitors. So lots of opportunities for digitalization to actually really make an impact. But that all sounds great. Should we really be worried? I'm sure, things are fine the way we're carrying on at the moment. Maybe, maybe not. What might an insurer look like in 2030, right? So this is a page from a McKinsey report, which is quite interesting. I must admit, I don't agree with all of it, but if we think ahead to the operating model of the insurer of the future, just 3 dimensions. Underwriting. They're predicting that underwriting for a lot of personal lines will be fully automated end-to-end. Now, again, I treat that with a bit of skepticism. My personal view is we still need some element of human intervention, whatever shape, but strong case for that. Claims. Over 50%. Actually, the figure was much, much higher. But potentially, in a lot of simple products, you could have full automation. In fact, as Mariam will cover, some insurers have actually moved to that sort of model. Now, the last one, again, I've put this up there to be a bit provocative, which, again, I don't think, do we want AI interaction all the way with our customers? But again, for simple products, there's an opportunity, right? So, a lot of opportunities for us to transform our business in many areas of the business. And how do we achieve that? Well, on the people front, there's a lot of transformation in the skills and roles that are required. So whether it's in distribution, sales, underwriting, claims, across the whole value chain. I'm going to skip through. So, one final question from me before I pass over to Mariam. Given that a lot of you have put ones in particular for the first question, or ones and twos, what's actually your organization's biggest challenge in getting started, given all the opportunities that are out there? If you could just go to Menti. Two more. Okay. Can we have a look? Let's have a look. Budget. Cost. Change management. People. Okay, so if I look at the top three, it looks like budget, the challenges of change management strategy, and cost. But budget's coming out on top. All right, we can flick back. So looking at a lot of, actually, budget. This is a survey of a global insurance survey, insurance leaders. So you've got how, at the top, how senior leaders are thinking about the barriers, and line managers, line leaders. And you can see the first two, lack of resources, skills, expertise, people, resistance to change, change management. How do you take your employees with me? Any sort of transformation exercise. Budget didn't come up, which is quite interesting. But lots of obvious ones around change management, pulling everybody, having a clear sense of direction, clear strategy, and so on. Lack of funds was actually quite low down the list. Because I think for most global businesses, the ROI of these changes is clear. Okay, so we've talked a bit about the demand drivers and also some of the barriers. I'm going to pass over now to Mariam, and she's going to dive a bit deeper. What might be some of the roles that are changing and the skills that are needed? Mariam, over to you. Thank you.
Hello, good morning, everyone. So by 2030, the number of employees who are going to require technology-related skills is going to increase by 55%. And employees who are going to need cognitive skills such as data entry or basic calculations are going to drop by 15%. And this just shows us how automation, how AI, how digital tools are going to change the way that we work, and how the employee of the future is going to need to be a lot more flexible, a lot more agile, more tech-savvy, and a lot more creative as well. I'd like you all to go to Menti again, please, and just rank the top 3 departments according to you, which you feel are the most likely to change. Okay, so an interesting mix here. Jobs in every single department are going to change from digitalization. And with these jobs changing, the type of skills that are going to be required are going to change as well. So this chart just shows us how the different departments in an insurance company are there. And the blue represents the functions where new skills would be required or jobs will change due to automation. On an overall basis, if you can see, the department that is seeing the most change is the call center department. 95% of the tasks that they're going to be performing are going to change. And if you see on the other end of the spectrum, you have the actuarial department, which only has 50% of its tasks that are either going to be automated or requiring a new skill. And this is probably due to the complexity of the actuarial work that requires a lot more human expertise. And so while each department has different levels of automation and changes in task performs, it is critical that learning and development opportunities be provided to each and every department so that they can keep up with the new business landscape. So developing new skills and capabilities in your employee is going to allow your organization to develop the roles of the future. And these are primarily going to be roles in technology. So roles such as data scientists, technologists, experienced designers, these are all the roles of the future which you should be focusing on. And if it will not only future-proof your organization, but it will also position it as a market leader in innovation and employee development. So companies across the globe have already started the digitalization process and future-proofing their organization against digitalization. I'm going to cover 2 case studies in my presentation. The first being a leading insurer in Europe, which changed its strategic mission to become digitally unbeatable. And by doing this, they then set out to develop new digital methods, such as developing the 60-second claim model. So over here, people could go online, they could submit a claim within 60 seconds on their portal and be more digital. So one of the ways they actually did this was they changed the talent strategy completely, and they hired only the best engineers in the market. And today, over 1/3 of the employees are actually employed in technology or data-related roles. They also changed their operating model and just the way that their team is structured. So they made them a lot more agile, flexible, and they also changed the way their teams worked by introducing bi-weekly sprints. They also developed new technology capabilities of their teams through upskilling and reskilling of their employees, and created a culture of innovation which was more data-driven. So they prepared easy-to-use dashboards and changed their performance management structure to become a lot more data-driven. So just by making all these changes, they were able to increase their revenue, decrease their costs, and significantly improve their customer satisfaction ratings. Another insurance company was losing a lot of recruits to more high-tech insurers. And they faced a skills deficit, especially in AI and data analytics roles. And just by keeping this in mind, they conducted an inventory of their skills across the company and identified areas of immediate concern. And one of the findings was that the company saw it would face a lot of issues and a lot of shortages in headcounts in data analysts, system developers, and IT infrastructure specialists. And once they found this, they created a skills hub. This skills hub was basically responsible for managing the demand and supply of skills across the organization. And they piloted this in the finance and call center units. And these are the 2 departments which are the most threatened by technology and digitalization. So in areas where roles needed to change, this hub actually offered learning modules to help employees gain the skills that they needed. And where they found that roles were being eliminated, they provided upskilling to help people qualify for a different role or find adjacent roles within the company. And one of the things senior management had in mind when going into this pilot project was there were going to be a lot of layoffs, there were going to be a lot of terminations. But eventually, this hub ended up redeploying or reskilling almost every single employee in that pilot unit. So developing an aggressive strategy to attract, cultivate, and retain your employees is essential, especially in this new digitalization era. So a few of the things that can be done is prioritizing your talent strategy, which involves basically identifying what are the roles that are key to your company, what are the roles that are required in the future, and what kind of roles will be transformed. Once this is done, you need to start bridging the skills gap and integrating new capabilities within the company. So the World Economic Forum actually published a Future of Jobs report in 2023. And they said that 6 out of 10 workers in 2027 are going to have to acquire new skills to do their current jobs. But only half of these are going to have access to training. So it's essential for every single company to provide those learning and development opportunities to their employees. The work environment also needs to be adjusted. So one of the things that should be done is a culture of innovation should be adopted. Agile teams are going to become the norm, and a lot of companies have actually started introducing transformation offices within their companies to match this change. The last thing that should be done is smart goals should be developed, which are in line with transformation initiatives, and these should have clear accountability so that there's no ambiguity or confusion in the roles or responsibilities. So just as a closing thought, even though digitalization, AI is something that is coming into the market, nothing is going to replace human expertise. And HR is often overlooked as a function when considering strategic change. But if this is made key, then you have guaranteed success in your transformation journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Hasham and Mariam, for an excellent and enlightening session.